The country is very hospitable, very peace-loving and welcoming.
And I gave you just eat. Oh. Yeah. Let me. Yeah. Nice carrot. Eat. Take it. Eat.
I was told not to eat off the road, man.
Yeah.
This is like a youth outreach program where we want the music to be used as a tool for positive social change. So that's our major outcome that we are looking at. There's a lot that we're expecting to learn and to share. But I'm hoping that he will be up with all the energy tomorrow so that at least we should make this a great success with him around.
The djembe drum is very big here, but the people do not have the correct technique to play it. I found that they are great djembe players. They have adapted the rhythms to their language, but they do not have the technique to obtain the sounds out of the drum. The thing about technique is you're able to speak to other people from around the world. If you don't have the correct technique, then you're not able to speak the same language. It's important for us all to get along with one another. So I just want to do my part in sharing the love amongst the people.
We are at a Lua Special School, a school for the deaf and blind children in Ongwediva, Namibia. Although they cannot hear and speak, you can see that they can use their bodies to just do whatever any other person can do.
My name is Leon. What's your name? Kandari. Very good, man. Very good. You understand me? I'm very happy to be here.
It's American Sign Language.
Yeah, American Sign Language. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing in this world that you cannot do. At a young age, I was able to study with Olatunji at 6. I studied trap drums with Max Roach, a very famous jazz drummer. I went on to be on a weekly television series at the age of 10. The only thing that can stop you from doing what it is that you want to do is you.
We're gonna have a What I like about music most is seeing it really express something from deep inside people. I've traveled around lots of different places in Zambia, and every place I go I get to hear the music that's there and I get to see the dancing that's there. What we saw today was something I've never seen before. I have to say it was wild. It was really, in many ways, it was outstanding. I think that Zambian music, if it's going to catch on broadly, if it really is going to express itself broadly, it has to connect beyond the borders of Zambia. And I think what Leon Mobley was doing here, this group today, was teaching them how to connect way beyond these borders. So I see some bright future here in the kind of music these folks are developing.
So Leon, it is really such a pleasure to finally get to talk to you, because I've been following your career for actually since I was a teenager. So I'm very familiar with your bio, and I'm very familiar with all the wonderful people that you work with. I want to start really with a question more about childhood, because almost every article that gets written about you mentions the fact that you were a bit of a child prodigy with music, with acting and everything. And so it's one funny thing is we're doing this interview on Zoom, but you were actually on a show called Zoom back in the 1970s. So tell us a little bit about how you got into music, how you got into entertainment at such an early age.
Well, if you were to ask my mother the question, she would say that I started playing in the womb. She would go out in the evening and listen to bands and come home late at night, and I'd be going off inside her stomach. And they'd shine the flashlight, her and my father, and they'd be like, look at him, he's still going, he's still going. So by when I was age of 4, my mom had to buy me a drum set because I banged on everything. Tables, cans, pots and pans. So she bought me a Remo drum set when I was 4 years old. And I began studying traditional hand drumming with Babatunde Olatunji at the Elmer Lewis School of Fine Arts, an after-school program in Roxbury, Massachusetts, where I grew up. So it's been all my life.
So Leon, I wanted to share this anecdote with you. A few years ago, I published a book called Transculturalism, and one chapter was devoted to Babatunde Olatunji as the master drummer. And I know that he was your master and he got you going as a young person, but what did you learn from him that ended up shaping some of your musical choices and ended up shaping your career?
I was very fortunate to work with Babatunde Olatunji and study with him at a very young age. He gave me everything that I am today. He showed me and told me that this drum would open up any door that I wanted it to. He said that I could play for kings and queens, presidents, and it has happened. He instilled in me a sense of surety, a sense of knowing best for myself, knowing and caring about myself so that I can do for others. The drum is a very, very, very powerful instrument, he told me, and it touches every body because every body has a heart, and that is their drum. So every person is a drum. And this is what I learned from Babatunde Olatunji. So he gave me a sense of unity amongst the world.
Leon, many consider you to be one of the world's greatest drummers, but if I were going to flip the question and ask you who, let's say just in Africa and in America, who might be a couple of great drummers that might have inspired you outside of the great Nigerian Babatunde Olatunji, who would you name right off the top of your head right now?
Wow. Max Roach. Billy Higgins. Candido. There are so many greats. There is what's my man's name? I met him in New York across 110th Street. He was playing at a club at across 110th Street. Oh. I can't. You've caught me in a moment where I'm trying to. Wow. There's Ibrahim Kamara. He introduced me to djembe. There's Famadou Kanote. I studied with Famadou at one point. These are people that inspired me to play. Yes.
Leon, I know that you have traveled the world as a musician, and one of the trips that I'm very interested in hearing about is actually a trip that you did for the State Department. And this live stream is actually being done courtesy of the State Department, so that we can really talk about the exchange of culture between Africans and Americans. And I want to hear a little bit about your experience traveling to Namibia and other countries in Africa, and in this teaching mission, musicians, meeting young people, meeting older people just around the promise of music. Can you share some anecdotes about that State Department trip that you did a few years ago? It almost feels like it might have been a decade ago.
First, I have to wrap my head around the fact that I am going to Africa to share African drumming, teach and demonstrate African drumming in Africa. I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity for a sharing relationship, a chance for people from different parts of the world to come together and share and work with one another. And to this day, I'm still in contact with these people. It was such a great, great, enriching trip to be able to go to the homeland, to eat the food, to experience the music and the culture of the people, to be able to share it through my ability of playing music and what it is that I have done to touch the world, what I've been blessed with, to be able to share that and to be able to receive from the smallest children to the elders of the villages that I came across. It was just unbelievable experience. To this day, enriching me as who I am. And I thank the State Department for having such a program that is able to bring people of different cultures together to see the similarities that we're able to have. People were like, wow, you born in America and you play drums like that? I'm like, this is who we are. We are of the same people. We are all Africans. No matter where you come from, as long as you are a human, you are an African. The oldest bones of man have been found in Africa. That means we are all from Africa. And it is a great, great opportunity for me to go and share. And we made films. We did a little film about it, 1-minute videos, and it was great, great experience.
I wanted to ask you, Leon, about maybe one specific anecdote or one specific experience that you remember so vividly, even now, a decade later, from that State Department trip. Is there one thing that will stay with you forever? One specific experience? I would love to find out.
There are so many special moments from that trip. It is very hard to select one. Every day was an amazing event. But one event that I do remember is going to an academy of students who were blind and deaf, and seeing and experiencing how, first of all, another language, they even had sign languages different than what I know as sign language. But, I mean, there was a way of communication that they were able to have through vibrations, through helping one another with partial sighting and hearing partially, so they were able to dance, sing, and play amazingly together and communicate. Amazing, amazing. Touched me to this day.
Thank you so much for sharing this recollection of emotions, because it feels like it might have been a very emotional moment for you with those people that you met and just seem to have carried in your heart for a long time. I want to maybe switch to your current music, because the problem in interviewing musicians who've been working as long as you have is there's such a huge body of work that sometimes people don't pay attention to the most recent work. And so I'm wondering, what new music are you working on in the moment? Can you tell us a little bit and give us a primer on this performance that we're going to experience in a few seconds?
Well, due to the situation that we find ourselves in the present state of quarantine, the band that I play with, Ben Harper and the Innocent Criminals, we have not been able to tour and not been able to do any kind of live performances. So I have been abiding by the situation and staying at home. And here in my studio, working on a new project that I am very pleased and very happy to share with you. I was working with a good friend of mine. His name was Jim Cobb, and he is a guitar player. And he and I together wrote 14 different songs. And it would be an honor to share one of them with you for an upcoming event, an upcoming album, an upcoming CD that I will be doing in the future, as I am working here now on Saturdays. Saturdays, I'm doing 2 live performances at 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. Hawaiian Standard Time. I am doing it on this platform, Zoom, from this studio, and I am playing live every Saturday. To reserve a space for the performance, you must email LemoJams. That's LEMOJAMZ @gmail.com. LemoJams, LEMOJAMZ @gmail.com, and reserve for the performances on Saturday. Thank you very much for having me. So you can tune in there.
Thank you so much. It was such a wonderful moment, and I can't wait to have more conversations with you. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Bumba oh, carnival, bumba oh, why bumba carnival, di bela yuti the bajato, bumba say tala carnival. Avenue, oh, oh, yeah, Banjala Bolo.